Hey guys, Marisa at KitchenTableStamper.com. This is the Way to Goat Cute Fruit Stamp-A-Stack. Alright, so Way to Goat Cute Fruit Stamp-A-Stack is our bingo project. This catalog release. We did a 2020-2022 catalog kickoff and played some bingos. And the projects were a Stamp-A-Stack. So let me share with you what that looks like. This is the kit. It makes 6 cards. The fun part is when you cut up the designer series paper according to the Wonder recipe, combine it with the bits that are die cut and punched for you, you can get 6 awesome cards. So this is design number 2, design number 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's our Way to Goat Stamp-A-Stack. Now you'll notice Cute Fruit and Way to Goat are exactly the same cards, just different focal images, different designer series paper. So here's our Cute Fruit and Way to Goat. Here's our Cute Fruit. See, we just swapped the orientation, but the pieces are all the same. And then another Cute Fruit. There's the matching Way to Goat. Cute Fruit. Way to Goat. Cute Fruit. Way to Goat. Cute Fruit. Way to Goat. Now when I do this Stamp-A-Stack for bingo, I'm actually going to do it with the little ladybug from Celebration, and I have one of these stamp sets as an extra bingo prize. So the idea of the Stamp-A-Stack is that you can do the cards no matter what stamp set you choose. If you want to order Cute Fruit or Way to Goat, they're brand new in the annual catalog and the beginner brochure. Or you can grab a stamp set that you already have and you can apply that to the kit. All right, so let's take a look at the kit. There are kits available in the Kitchen Table Stamper store while supplies last. And inside your kit, you'll find your punch outs, your crinkled seam binding ribbon. Now this is a Whisper white ribbon. And you'll notice that our ribbons look a whole lot different on the card samples. We're going to color them whatever color fits our design using our Stampin' Blends markers. There's a half a package of the Playing With Patterns enamels. I love these new enamels. They're matte. There's not a bit of shine to them at all. They're kind of thin, great colors. Love the enamels. Quarter pack of the Playing With Patterns Designer Series paper. This one's brand new, and I encourage you to pick any 2 sheets that appeal to you for this Stamp-A-Stack. You can see the Way to Goat. I chose a Calypso Coral with white dots and white with multicolor stripe. And for Cute Fruit, I chose multicolor polka dot and a crushed curry with a line pattern. So any combination of 2 papers that really floats your boat is going to make a gorgeous Stamp-A-Stack. You'll also include, we've also included Whisper white cardstock. What I like to do with a Stamp-A-Stack is I like to stamp and cut, color, stamp, cut my images ahead of time. So my goats or my fruits, I'll stamp them and cut them, and then I can mix and match them to make the Stamp-A-Stack come to life. There's also your card kits. So there will be 1 kit for each of 6 designs. All right, so let me slide these to the side for a minute. The first thing we're going to do on the video is we're going to cut our designer series paper. So I'm going to choose 2 pieces that I love, and for the sake of video instruction, we're going to do the Cute Fruit cards. So we're going to choose the multicolor polka dot sheet and this crushed curry with line patterns. So you need 2 sheets of your choice. We're gonna cut this according to the Wonder Recipe number 4 diagram. This will be available to print out right below the embedded video on the blog. So if you're watching on the blog, just scroll down underneath the video and you'll see click here for your printable Wonder Recipe number 4 cutting guide. If you're on YouTube, click over to the blog post where it says project details, click here, and then scroll down and grab this printable free from the blog. All right, so let's grab a paper trimmer and do this cutting. We'll prepare our pieces of designer series paper. Got my Stampin' trimmer here, and I want the orientation of my pieces to go the same way as my sample cards, just to keep me from getting confused as I copy them. So what we'll do is the first pieces that we're gonna cut are these 1 3/4 by 3 inch pieces, and the orientation of those was this way. So we'll cut at 1 3/4. Now for the polka dots, it's not going to matter, the orientation. So what I'm going to do is just pop those guys with, you can do 2 at a time. So I'm gonna cut off 1 3/4 first. Stampin' Up! Trimmer has no problem cutting through 2 sheets of designer series paper at a time. Then we're gonna rotate and cut at 3 inches. And there are our 1 3/4 by 3 inch pieces. We'll set those guys aside. Now the next measurement we need here, we're gonna make 3 pieces that are 1 3/8 by 3 1/4. So we're gonna turn this 90 degrees and we're gonna cut off 3 1/4. Set aside the scrap. Now we need to rotate again 90 degrees and we're gonna cut off 1 3/8 3 times. Three-eighths is 1/8 before the 1/2 inch. So if you need to, go 1 1/2 and then back out 1/8, if that helps you measuring eighths. Make sure you got it nice and straight. Now this Wonder Recipe leaves us with a tiny little scrap. We use almost the entire 3 sheets of designer series paper. Okay, so there are our 3 1/4 by 1 3/8 inch pieces. Now we're left with this little guy here, and this little guy we're gonna cut in half, and we're gonna cut this in half at 1 3/8. So this is the Wonder Recipe number 4 is the 1 3/8 Wonder Recipe. So we got 1 1/2. We can back out that 1/8 of an inch, square it all up, and cut this piece in half. So now we've got 4 1/4 by 1 3/8 times 2 pieces. That's all of our designer series paper cut up for all 6 cards in the Stampa stack. So let's lay those guys out. We can grab our card kits now. So our navy cards get, let's grab out the navy card kits. They're gonna get a 1 3/8 by 4 1/4, and then they're going to get a 1 3/4 by 3 inch piece. Now that goes in with our circle label card. So inside, all the die cutting is done for you. Got the labels, the circles, so we'll just add the designer series paper to that kit. Now the tag navy card, so we got our little tag in there. That one gets a 1 3/4 by 3, and the other 1 3/8 by 4 1/4. So there's that guy. Now, those are our cards, our navy cards. Now we've got our Calypso Coral cards. Our Calypso Coral cards get a 3 by 1 3/4 inch piece, the crushed curry. and a 1 3/8 by 4 1/4 polka dot. And those go with our Calypso Coral tag card. So grab the card kit with the tag piece and drop those pattern papers in there. And then here's where the fun is. We've got our Calypso Coral. This one's got our square labels. We're going to add a crushed curry. This is the smaller 1 3/8 by 3 1/4 inch pieces, and 2 of the polka dot pieces. And then our remaining pieces are for Coastal Cabana cards. Coastal Cabana cards are going to get 2 or all 3 of the 1 3/8 by 3 1/4 inch pieces. So there are those. And that one is the one with the square labels. So the square labels card gets its designer series paper. And our last Coastal Cabana card is going to get the crushed curry and multicolor polka dot. Now we're left with our Coastal Cabana. So let's choose which one we're going to start with, and I think we're going to start with our watermelon cards. But now you'll notice, to keep things exciting, those square label cards, the ones with the 1 3/8 by 3 1/4 inch designer series paper pieces, one is Coastal Cabana and one is Calypso Coral. Of course, I chose all the CC colors for this Stamp-A-Stack. All right, so you'll notice that I stamped my backgrounds. I used the all wired up background stamp. This one carried over from the annual catalog. You can use any background stamps that you like. And I'm going to go ahead and do one on camera. I'm going to do a Coastal Cabana. And the reason why I'm going to do a Coastal Cabana one on camera is because then I'm going to go through and I'm going to stamp all my backgrounds on all my card bases. I'm going to do it in one step. I'm not going to do it on video for the sake of, but when you're doing this, if you want to use the same background on the whole Stamp-A-Stack of cards, you're going to want to take your Coastal Cabana and then your Night of Navy and then your Calypso Coral. Red pigments tend to be harder to clean from a stamp, so when you're going to use the same stamp and clean it and then move on to another color and then use the same stamp and clean it, always go cool to warm, because the cool pigments will clean off the stamp more cleanly and make it easier for you to switch from one card to the next, changing colors as you go. For this Stamp-A-Stack, I've got my Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to ink and stamp each of these cards with this little all wired up background. Feel free to choose any one you like. I liked the idea of the wires. I think it works really well with the fruits, because you think maybe shopping basket, farmer's market, and with the goats, it's like a goat pen. I think it's also going to look really cute with the little ladybugs, and I will share pictures of the little ladybug version of this Stamp-A-Stack on the Craft Social. So if you're not a member of the Kitchen Table Stamper Craft Social, get over there and check it out. We have a lot of fun, and I'll share just a little sneak peek or pictures of this Stamp-A-Stack done with little ladybug stamps. I'm sure some of you have earned that or had earned that one during celebration. All right, so I'm just burnishing a piece of scratch paper over the top so you don't get your fingers inky. There's our chicken wire. All right, I'm gonna stamp the other backgrounds and I'll meet you back here in just a second. Okay, so I've just finished stamping our last chicken wire background. And we're going to just pop the stamped backgrounds into our kits. We're going to work on the watermelon cards here. Or if you're playing along with the goats, we're gonna work on these fun little goat guys. So these are the cards that have the square labels and those 3 pieces each of designer series paper. Let me just slide these guys aside for a minute here. And we'll get our kits. Now at this point, we're gonna do our stamping. We are quite literally stamping a stack. So let's grab that Whisper White cardstock. We've got a half a sheet here. And if you're playing along, we're gonna stamp our watermelons or our goats. I've got Calypso Coral and Coastal Cabana ink for my watermelons. If you're doing the goats, you'll want Memento Tuxedo Black so that you can color them in. Got my Stampin' Pierce mat here and my watermelon parts from the Cute Fruit stamp set. Don't you just love this? Be on the lookout for lots of fun little things with this. I've been to the Dollar Tree recently. And if you know me, the Dollar Tree is where I get most of my inspiration, I think. All right, so I've got the rind and the fruit. Now this awesome little cute fruit can be an orange slice, a lemon slice, a lime slice, or a watermelon. Today, we're going with Calypso Coral for 2 watermelons and Coastal Cabana for 2 watermelon rinds. Now the pictures for both of these cards will be on the blog post and at the end of this video, so you can see either of these designs when you're working on your Stamp-A-Stack. So we're putting the rind on, we're leaving that little bit of white, kind of like it fades from green to white on a real watermelon. We don't put it right up against the coastal or the Calypso Coral. There's our slices. All right, we're done with these. So let's switch to Night of Navy. And whether you're doing the goats or you're doing the fruits, you're gonna do your sentiment in Night of Navy. So I've got my 1 in a melon, your 1 in a melon greeting, and we're gonna go into the kits and get our little circles. These little circles are 1 1/8 inch circles, and we cut those for your kit using the layering circles dies. And we're gonna just stamp our greetings right in on them. We're gonna work 2 cards at a time over 3 videos to make our Stamp-A-Stack of 6 cards. All right, there's our greetings. We'll let those dry for a minute, and I'm going to grab my paper snips and cut out my watermelons. You'll do exactly the same with your goats. You'll color them and cut them, and let's add some dimensionals to the back. So cute. All right, now let's go back to our kits here for just a minute. I'm gonna stack these guys. All right, let's focus on our little fruity samples here. Make sure I keep them in the picture for you. We're gonna build 2 cards at a time. You'll notice with the kit for the Coastal Cabana base that you have your choice of 2 labels. So depending which designer series paper you choose, you might want Crushed Curry or Coastal Cabana. There's also a Night of Navy. So those pieces are intended for you to be mix and match. And we cut those ahead of time for you using the Ornate Frames dies. So it's this swoopy square from Ornate Frames. I grab my Stampin' Seal, and we're gonna start out here by making some of these pieces. We're going to combine them. So we're going to take the Whisper White square and we're going to adhere it to the Night of Navy scallop square for both kits. Now these are cut ahead of time for you in the kit, or you can grab your layering squares, and it's the 2 3/8 inch square and the 2 3/4 inch scallop square. With our Coastal Cabana, we've got Night of Navy for our scallop, and with our Calypso Coral, we've got Coastal Cabana. So go ahead and get those. Now, let's get our 1 in a melon. We're gonna adhere that little dude centered in the label. You can do the label of your choice for the Coastal Cabana card. And since I've got a Crushed Curry Designer Series paper, I'm gonna stick with the Calypso Coral label, but you'll see on our little goat card sample, because our goat card has the Calypso Coral Designer Series paper, I went with Crushed Curry. So your choice, mix and match. Now let's adhere our Designer Series paper. All right, so we've got 3 pieces of Designer Series paper here. Adhere those Designer Series papers. We're gonna make them a little bit higher, a little bit lower, kind of toggle them and let them overlap each other. Now our Night of Navy and white square. Pop that little guy in there off to the right of center. Let's add our label. Now we're really reducing the number of pieces we have hanging around, aren't we? All right, little watermelon, 1 for our Coastal Cabana card. I like a little jaunty angle there. And let's catch up our Calypso Coral card. Same thing, let's get some adhesive on each of the Designer Series paper strips. We're gonna add them at fun little angles, little right, little left. Skip a little space between the second paper and the third paper and pop it on. Our Coastal Cabana scallop square. Bottom of center a little bit. Our 1 in a melon label. Get that guy on there too. And our watermelon. All right, let's dig back into our kit here for just a minute. We've got a little packet of punch outs for you. These were done ahead using the small bloom punch and the sprig punch. And they're from Coastal Cabana for the sprigs. And the flowers are a mix of Crushed Curry and Coastal Cabana. We're just gonna take a sprig for each card and a flower for each card. I'm gonna put Crushed Curry on the Coastal Cabana, and I'm gonna follow my sample and put Calypso Coral on the Calypso Coral. Almost down 2 cards, just a bit of embellishing. We're gonna need some multi-purpose liquid glue and a take your pick tool. Let's take our little flowers and we'll press them, give them some shape using the tip of the putty tip, the cap of the take your pick tool. And let's add a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue on the back of our sprigs, just a dot. We'll add the sprig. Don't cover the greeting. Add the flower using the same glue. You could grab a mini glue dot here if you wanted to. And then I'm gonna get one of these awesome enamels. I'm gonna grab a Crushed Curry, large one. And we're just gonna slide it right into the center of our flower. Lay it down, give it a press. And one more time with our Crushed Curry flower. on our Coastal Cabana card. Embellish with the sprig. Don't cover your greeting. Same process, more multi-purpose liquid glue. Pop it right in. And for this guy, I'm gonna add a little purple posy enamel. So give that guy a little push. And then right onto our crushed curry flour. We're done. That's it. 2 of our Stamp-A-Stack cards are complete. Here's the cute fruit and our Way to Goat counterparts. Now you'll notice for Way to Goat, we did a little rotation, and Way to Goat. All right. If you've got any questions about kitchen table stamper Stamp-A-Stack, the Wonder Recipes, catalog kickoff bingos, we do one at every new catalog. You can email Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com and to shop 24/7, pick up Way to Goat and cute fruit. Buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching.